Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Once again, I welcome you on the Repertory series, Understanding Disposition through the Repertory. So, we have, as far as we have learned different disposition up till now. So today we are going to one of the subject of understanding of dispositions, and we came across many a time people who are in a stage of fright or fear. So today we have with us Dr. Dhruvil Gadhiya. He is going to give insight into the study of fearful dispositions. I welcome Dr. Dhruvil Gadhiya on stage. So he will guide regarding understanding of a different aspect of the fear and the miasmatic understanding of a fear with a few rubrics which we came across in our clinical practice. So Dr. Dhruvil, stage is yours and all the best.
Thank you. So we'll start with the fearful disposition. First of all, tribute to the founder of homeopathy, Master Hahnemann. Because of the person, we got another way of treatment which is comparatively far better than the current the so-called first line way of the treatment. Then tribute to the Einstein of homeopathy, Dr. Praful Vijayakar sir, who made homeopathy easiest way for us, and we can say by the teaching of the Praful Vijayakar sir, we came to the simillimum very easily. We can't even think before we come in contact with sir. Then gratitude to my guru and inspiration in homeopathy. I would like to say that before I met Dr. Amit Gohel sir, I was not even thinking of practicing in homeopathy. But because of sir, today I am here. And thank you sir for this wonderful opportunity. Then gratitude to my mentor, Dr. Chirag Patolia sir, who made my basic concepts very easy for me and make me understand how to adapt everything and how to accept from everyone. So thank you Amit sir and Chirag sir. So these are the glimpses what we are learning today. So today's lecture will be in 4 different departments. So first department will be physiology and biochemistry of fear, how fear develops in our body. So if we want to learn any emotion, so first we need to understand how it develops, what kind of impact they cause in our body, and pathophysiology. So second part will be connection of emotion and pathophysiology in our body. Then we will learn about the repertorial understanding and arrangement of the rubrics according to as like we are studying fearful disposition. So in fear, not only fear, but anxiety, apprehension, fear, fearless, panic, fright, these all are connected to each other. Okay, so we will learn that also. And the last part will be medicine under fearful disposition. The medicine will be entry point, key point, and reaction. Every medicine has fearful emotion in some extent, but the reaction of every medicine is different, and the reaction is because of what? The sensitivity. So every medicine has unique sensitivity, and according to that, emotion arises, right? So we will learn that. So let's start with the physiology and biochemistry of fear. So what is fear? First we need to understand what is fear, right? So fear is a bad feeling that you are in danger or something that might happen to you, or some particular thing that threatens you is fear. So this is a basic understanding of fear. What is fear, right? So how fear develops? So fear develops under the influence of SCTH, the 6 in book chart and rubric, it is written that 6 and 7 fragment of amino acid SCTH. will be responsible for the development of fear, but fear is collaborated with norepinephrine, adrenaline. So such level of hormone secretes from our body, and that influence the effect of fear, and that will different in every medicine. We will learn about it. So this whole circle is known as a limbic system, right? So this is the ACTH. So these are glutamine, histidine, and phenylalanine. These three amino acids are responsible for the development of fear. We will learn it in biochemistry department. Okay. So what caused the fear? So it can be a past experience, either visual, auditory stimulus. It can be anything. For example, any children has saw a dog, and he stored a memory that dog is harmful to us, and the feeling of that child is defenseless. If the child will develop fear of dog, if the boy is not defenseless, then he will not develop the fear of dog. So everyone is come in influence of that situation, but not everyone develops that kind of fear. Okay, so it depends on the sensitivity, what kind of sensitivity person have, right? So as we if we learn it in a homeopathic context, the fear is nothing but a psychological or a morphological constructive defense, right, due to the insecurity or cowardice nature of that person, right? So these are the structure of brain. Remember three things. The first is amygdala, that purple thing, right? Then a blue line. This is hippocampus. And the green structure is hypothalamus. The whole emotion cycle covered by these three structures, right? So let's talk about the any situation that any person see any structure or any thing or any kind of thing person see, right? वो कुछ देखता है, वो कोई सिचुएशन उसके सामने आती है, देखता है, फिर वो क्या होगा कि सारा ऑप्टिक नर्व के थ्रू एमिगडाला के पास जाएगा, सारी इंफॉर्मेशन एमिगडाला के पास जाएगी, और एमिगडाला है वो स्टोर हाउस को रिफर करेगा कि ये सिचुएशन आई है, ऐसा मैसेज आया है आपके पास से, ठीक है? तो वो सारा स्टोर रहेगा प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स. दीज आर द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ ब्रेन एंड प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स एरिया, राइट? प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स एरिया वो स्टोर्स दी होल, जब से हम पैदा हुए हैं तब से आज तक का सारा इंफॉर्मेशन प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स के अंदर स्टोर रहेगा. वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ स्टोरेज हाउस ही है, उसका और कोई काम नहीं है, ठीक है? एमिगडाला क्या करेगा, उसके पास जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन आई है वो रिफर करेगा प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स को. फिर प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स बोलेगा कि हाँ ऐसा आगे हुआ था, मेरे पास इतनी इंफॉर्मेशन है. फिर ये एमिगडाला क्या करेगा, वो इंफॉर्मेशन को और जो रिस्पॉन्स आया है उसको दोनों को हिपोकैम्पस के पास भेजेगा. यानी रिकॉग्नाइजेशन ऑफ द फियर और एनी इमोशन डन बाय द हिपोकैम्पस, राइट? सो एमिगडाला विल रिफर इट टू हिपोकैम्पस. हिपोकैम्पस क्या करेगा, हिपोकैम्पस विल सर्टिफाई दैट इमोशन. दिस इज फियर, दिस इज लव, दिस इज सैडनेस, दिस इज गिल्ट. Hippocampus will certify that every situation is different for everyone. That depends on the hippocampus. और hippocampus सारे perception बनाता है. जो भी perception बनेगा वो hippocampus के अंदर होगा, क्योंकि ये amygdala और hippocampus दोनों process करते हैं collaborate करके. यानी जो भी information आई है वो amygdala और hippocampus मिलके सुलझा लेंगे कि ये क्या है. अगर कोई थ्रेट है तो रियल है कि नहीं है, वो सारा परसेप्शन लेवल होगा एमिगडाला और हिपोकैम्पस के पास, ठीक है? एक बार डिसाइड हो गया कि ये फियर ही है, फिर आगे का काम करेगा हाइपोथैलेमस. हाइपोथैलेमस विल कोरिलेट विथ इमोशन एंड द रिलीज any type of hormone will release under the influence of hypothalamus. Okay. अगर हिपोकैम्पस ने ऐसा बोला कि ये फियर है, हाइपोथैलेमस फियर का जितना भी प्रोसेस होगा वो चालू कर देगा, राइट? सो रिकॉग्नाइजेशन डन एट द लेवल ऑफ एमिगडाला एंड हिपोकैम्पस, राइट? स्टोरेज हाउस है वो प्रीफ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स है. ओके, so hippocampus and prefrontal cortex help in the interpretation of the perceived threat, whether the threat is real or not, right? Understand? Okay, this is the amygdala, hippocampus, hypothalamus. These three structures work together and develops any type of emotion in our body. So let's learn about the biochemistry of fear. Now the work starts off hypothalamus. What hypothalamus will do? Hypothalamus will release either GABA glutamate, either serotonin, norepinephrine. The quantity of that hormones or any type of neurotransmitter will be different according to the perceived threat, according to the perception of the person, right? It will be different, but the whole emotional structure will be developed by these, right? So norepinephrine has some interesting reaction in our body. So as we know that any person come in any situation that he will react in three basic way. Either it can be fight, either it can be flight, or it can be freeze. So these reaction will be created by norepinephrine under the influence of adrenaline. So adrenaline and norepinephrine will collaborate to each other and develop fight, flight or freeze reaction in body, right? So this is the second component of our lecture, that connection of emotion and pathophysiology. As we know, Dr. Hammer's theory that every emotion has its own impact in our body. Every emotion can create the pathological or physiological disturbances or recreation, any kind of pathological or physiological structure changes can be done by emotion, right? So under the in context of fear, we can understand that take one example, that a female come in situation that her husband is stay with another woman and she find it, उसको पता चलता है कि ऐसा है, तो क्या होगा, उसके परसेप्शन के आधार पर different type of pathophysiological changes हो गए. For example, that she find it as a sexual frustration conflict. It will goes to the cancer of uterus. If she experience that a partner conflict, then right-handed woman develop the right breast cancer. If she find it as a fear and revulsion, then development of hypoglycemia. It can be physiological or it can be pathological, right? And if she find it as a lack of self-worth, will goes to pubic bone, the cancer of pubic bone. So under the one common emotion, the perception can change the pathophysiological development. So in different type of pathophysiological changes, we need to find different type of perception, right? So this is the third division of our lecture, that repertorial understanding and its arrangement, right? So anxiety and apprehension, it's a basic and soric emotion. Then it goes to anticipation and fear, a psychotic trait. Then anguish is a psychosyphilitic. Then fright and panic, also psychosyphilitic. Then fearlessness, it's a frank syphilis, right? So what is anxiety? Anxiety is a feeling of worry, especially about future, but only at the mental level, nothing physical. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोई बच्चा है, उसको एग्जाम आ रहा है, उसको आता है सब, अगर कुछ भी नहीं आता है, अगर आता है सब, फिर भी क्या होगा, उसको एक टेंशन रहेगा कि अभी यार मेरा एग्जाम आने वाला है, क्या करूं, राइट? सो दिस इज एंजाइटी. व्हाट इज एप्रीहेंशन? एप्रीहेंशन इज अ सस्पिशन ऑफ इविल. कुछ तो खराब होने वाला है, कुछ खराब होगा, अगर ऐसा हुआ तो, अगर ये हुआ तो, अगर मैं एग्जाम में फेल हुआ तो. ये कब आएगा? रिजल्ट के पहले. अगर उसका नहीं अच्छा गया है पेपर, तो फिर क्या होगा उसको? अगर अच्छा नहीं गया तो, अगर मेरा रिजल्ट नहीं आया तो क्या करूंगा मैं, पापा डांटेंगे. सो दिस इज एप्रीहेंशन. व्हाट इज एंटीसिपेशन? इन एंटीसिपेशन देयर इज अ फंडामेंटल ऑफ रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड. एनी रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड अगर कुछ है, जैसे कोई वर्डिक्ट आने वाला है कोर्ट में, तो फिर वकील को और जो दोषी है उसको क्या होगा कि क्या आएगा, क्या आएगा. अगर जैसे इलेक्शन का रिजल्ट आने वाला था, तो सारे कैंडिडेट को ऐसा होगा कि क्या रिजल्ट आएगा, कितने वोट मिले होंगे. सो दैट इज एंटीसिपेशन. व्हाट इज फियर? सो फियर इज अ फीलिंग ऑफ डेंजर, दैट समथिंग आई माइट गेट हर्ट, तो मुझे कुछ हो जाएगा, अगर ये ऐसा करेगा, ये ऐसा करेगा. सो एनी काइंड ऑफ फियर, वी ऑल नो. व्हाट इज एंग्विश? सो एंग्विश विल बी मेंटल एगोनी, बट दैट इज कुछ तो हो रहा है, पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है, कुछ तो हो रहा है. सर मुझे कुछ हो रहा है, अगर बोलने जाएगा तो क्या, वो तो शब्द नहीं है मेरे पास, लेकिन कुछ हो रहा है. उसको कुछ होता भी है, लेकिन वो बता नहीं पाता है कि क्या होता है. दैट इज एंग्विश. व्हाट इज फ्राइट? सो फ्राइट इज अ एक्साइटेड फियर बाय सडन डेंजर. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हम लेते हैं कि हम गाड़ी में जा रहे हैं और कोई सामने से अगर कोई कुत्ता आ जाए, बिल्ली आ जाए, या फिर ऐसा हुआ कि हम चल के जा रहे हैं, कैसे जोर से आवाज आ जाए, तो फिर क्या होता है? फ्राइट होता है. व्हाट इज पैनिक? सो पैनिक इज अ overpowered fright. It will reflect in mental as well as physical pain, right? And fearlessness is I am not afraid of anything. This is fearless. So first we will understand that anxiety. Anxiety is soric. It means I don't know what is going to happen. आगे क्या होगा ये मुझे नहीं पता है. It's a suspense and a doubt of the reality of threat. They don't know the reality. They wants to know the reality. That's why there is anxiety. For example, कि मुझे कुछ हो तो नहीं जाएगा ना, जैसे मैं बाहर का खाया वो भी, मुझे कुछ तो होगा तो नहीं ना, मेरी एग्जाम आने वाली है, मेरा परफॉर्मेंस कैसा रहेगा, मेरा फ्यूचर क्या रहेगा, बिजनेस में मैं कुछ अच्छा कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं कर पाऊंगा. ये सब ऐसा थ्रेट है, फ्यूचर के रिगार्डिंग है. ठीक. देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ थॉट इन माइंड, बट नो एनी फिजिकल रिएक्शन, राइट? फिजिकल पेन पे कुछ नहीं आएगा, सिर्फ मेंटल में स्ट्रेस रहेगा, चिंता रहेगी, और कुछ नहीं. These are the rubric you can think of. I'm not going to detail about that rubric, but these are the rubric you can find it in repertory and you can use. The commonly used rubric are there. Okay. If you goes to the complete repertory, you can find this type of rubric. And also, for example, anxiety future about है, फिर उसके loathing of life आएगा, फिर क्या आएगा? Sadness भी आएगा. So these are the सोरो साइकोटिक सिफिलिटिक डेवलपमेंट. अगर एक ही सिचुएशन है तो उसमें भी सोरिक रूब्रिक हो गए, साइकोटिक, साइकोसिफिलिटिक, फ्रैंक सिफिलिटिक, परवर्टेड एंड एक्सैगरेटेड टाइप ऑफ रूब्रिक यू कैन फाइंड इट. अकॉर्डिंग टू द कंडीशन ऑफ पेशेंट यू कैन सिलेक्ट द रूब्रिक, राइट? दीज आर द सम अनदर रूब्रिक यू कैन थिंक ऑफ. Now, exaggerated syphilitic expression of anxiety and apprehension is a extreme mental distress. अगर ये anxiety है, वो exaggerated, ज़्यादा ही होगा anxiety, और syphilitic expression आएगा anxiety का, फिर क्या होगा? Extreme mental distress. That person will unable to remain calm, वो काम सिचुएशन में नहीं रह सकेगा. नॉर्मल एंजाइटी है तो वो जैसे यहाँ पर बैठे बैठे भी सोच सकते हैं कि क्या होगा क्या होगा. अगर वो एग्जैगरेटेड मैनर में आ गया तो फिर फिजिकल पेन पे आ सकता है. पेशेंट फाइंड इट वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू एक्सप्रेस टर्मोइल व्हाट इज गोइंग इन हिज माइंड. फिजिकल पेन पे आएगा लेकिन फिर भी वो बता नहीं पाएगा कि क्या हो रहा है, बिकॉज इट्स अ सब्जेक्टिव फीलिंग, राइट. So these are the rubric you can take. That breathing preventing, we can see पेशेंट बता तो सकता नहीं है, वो सिचुएशन में क्या करें, जो हमें दिखता है वही लेना है. ठीक है. जॉयफुल थिंग बाय द मोस्ट, these are the syphilitic rubric, and control over senses lost, right. So this is wonderful. Anxiety conscience of the development of anxiety conscience of then the psychotic are masturbation from trifles about unpardonable sins she has done will be eternally lost, neglected duty, then wrong done, crime committed, then doing nothing is right, and I am a criminal. These can be the development. In any type of situation patient may come. So you have to take the rubric regarding this. Sensitivity will be conscientious, but the reaction will be different in every patient, right. These rubric you can also think of household matters. थोड़ी थोड़ी छोटी छोटी बातों में घर में एंजाइटी रहती है, you can think of. Then fear. Fear is a pure psychotic. A feeling that you are in danger or something might threatens you is a fear, right. For example, fear of death, fear of poverty, fear of animals, fear of height, right. So it's a थिंकिंग लेवल पे भी आएगा और फिजिकल लेवल पे भी आएगा. एंजाइटी में हमने क्या देखा था, जैसे सोरिक एंजाइटी है वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ मेंटल लेवल पे रहेगा, लेकिन फियर क्या होगा, मेंटल पे तो होगा ही, उसकी वजह से फिजिकल पेन पे भी आएगा, राइट. सो इफ वी सी इन द रेपर्टरी, द सिचुएशन ऑफ रेपर्टरी अंडर द rubrics of fear, there is a 3 division. First is related to time, rubrics fear related to time, fear related to physical general and situation, rubrics related to the disease condition and situation, right. So these the 3 component we can divide it in. If we want to know the rubric about time, we can see in first department. If we want to find the rubric regarding physical general or any kind of situation or physiological disturbances regarding fear, we can find it in second component, and the third component is syphilitic disrupted or pathological rubrics we can find, right. So related to time, under that thing we can find this type of rubric. Second component is physical general and situation. For example, जैसे आयरन डेफिशिएंसी है, चिल्ड्रन इन है, कन्वर्जन ड्यूरिंग है, लुक्ड एट, क्राउड इन, डायबिटीज इन, प्लेस टू प्लेस, ड्राइविंग इन प्लेस टू प्लेस. These kind of rubric we can find in second component, right. Another are menses before, during, after, fever during है, day. I have seen this rubric that fear of fright still remaining. There was one case, around 24-25 years old female, and had a past history that she got physically abused by the own family member, and around at the age of 10 or 11, and since 10-12 years the fear continues with her that any male comes to her or come near, she will find it as a fear. क्या होगा, क्या होगा, नॉन है, 10 साल से साथ में रहते हैं, फिर भी ऐसा ही होगा उसको. That is fear of fright still remaining. So we can think at that situation this rubric, right. fear pregnancy in sleeplessness with trifles about, right? So the third component is disease condition and the situation. In that you can find this type of rubric. In these also, alone being is a sorry. Then being alone fear करता है, लेकिन फिर भी उसको कंपनी चाहिए, that is psychotic. And fear of being alone, why? Might injure himself or he will die. So this is the development, sora psychosis syphilitic, right? So you can find in every type of rubric sora psychotic and syphilitic development. Fear animals of dog, bat, attack of being, injure of being, betray being, blood of. I remember this rubric was taken in a case in which 30 or 32 years old female, and she was a nurse, and the fear of that nurse also, if she find it any needle or blood or any knife or any sharp thing, she will just fall. अगर किसी बच्चे का वो पीडियाट्रिक में काम करती थी, अगर वो बच्चे का खून भी देख लेगी ना, वो गिर जाएगी. नीडल तो वो लगा ही नहीं सकती है, नीडल को देखेगी ना फिर भी वो शिवर करने लगेगी. So in that was the condition developed because she got a punch from the एक बच्चा शरारती होगा शायद, तो उसकी वजह से उसको एक नीडल लग गई थी और उसमें से वो खून भी बहुत बहा था उसका, तो तब से उसने ये फियर डेवलप किया था. तो उसमें एल्यूमिना was the remedy given for her. So you can use that kind of situation, these rubrics. These are the rubric you can think of. Being injured other, impulse is own, killed of being, knives of, girls in suspicious fear company with, right? The fright and panic, this is the psychosyphilitic, right? What is fright? Fright is a sudden violent emotion which creates the false perception in body. That false perception passes the wrong information to genes that cause the genetic mutation, and according to that genetic mutation, anatomical or physiological changes will occur in a body, right? What if that fright and panic unable to create genetic mutation, it will create the any type of disease condition according to the sensitivity of patient, right? What happens that that turmoil condition creates the derangement of vital force. Then our body will fight back, and that deranged vital force need to rearrange, right? For that, body will start defense mechanism. As a अगर वो सोरिक कंडीशन में है तो फिर वो उसका डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म एक गियर आगे चले जाएगा, साइकोटिक में हो जाएगा. अगर वो साइकोटिक कंडीशन में है ऑलरेडी तो फिर उसका गियर शिफ्ट होकर सिफिलिटिक कंडीशन में आ जाएगा. सो एज दैट माइजम कैन चेंज, राइट? सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द माइजम द डिसीज रिएक्शन विल बी different. So disease condition is what? That any type of turmoil can cause, any type of turmoil has caused the derangement of vital force. The body is trying to rearrange that, and that's why the symptoms appear in a body, right? So it's a survival mode that change the miasm, and disease is a symptom of outcome of that mechanism of body, right? So as we know, every individual has their own sensitivity. If that sensitivity get hurt repeated, get hurt, then they will create fear. Again, repetition of the fearful condition, वो situation सामने आ रही है, बहुत ज़्यादा बार आ रही है, फिर क्या होगा? वो डिल्यूजन क्रिएट करेगा, अ फॉल्स परसेप्शन क्रिएट करेगा, और वो फॉल्स परसेप्शन के साथ फिर भी वो कंटिन्यू रहा, हर्ट, और दैट सिचुएशन कम्स अगेन एंड अगेन एंड अगेन, फिर क्या होगा, वो आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल में डेलीरियम क्रिएट करेगा, राइट? सो अकॉर्डिंग टू द सेंसिटिविटी fear develop, according to that fear false perception develop, and according to that false perception mind goes to out of control. So basic thing is sensitivity we need to find in person, right? So you can think of this rubric under the fright and panic situation. I remember one case, delirium frightful. In that a male patient was there. हर सिचुएशन में उसको कोई ना कोई डर रहता है. जैसे वो बोलता है कि मैं यहाँ से पास हो रहा हूँ, फिर भी मुझे डर लगा रहता है. पता नहीं है क्या डर है, फिर भी उसको डर लगा रहता है. And by that and some genetic trait of that person, the lycopodium was given. So the next and the final department is medicine. As we have learned that every individual has their own sensitivity, as like that every medicine has their own sensitivity. Every medicine has their different type of sensitivity, different type of reaction, and different type of pathophysiological arrangement, right? So जैसे हमें पता है कि हर मेडिसिन में कोई ना कोई डर रहता है, लेकिन उसका कॉज डिफरेंट रहेगा और उसका रिएक्शन डिफरेंट रहेगा. We will try to understand the different remedies under this thing also. This thing only, that what kind of cause creates the fear and what kind of reaction they will give, right? So what are the medicine you know about the fearful disposition? Ammonium, aconite, arsenic, calcaria, argentum, बस, lachesis, hyoscyamus, belladonna, lycopodium, silicia, jalsemium, alumina, acetylene. So there is a vast numbers of remedies of fear, but every remedy has their own type of fear. So we'll try to understand that. So first is aconite. Aconite says that you name it, I have it. Any type of fear, आपको जो भी नाम आता है fear का, वो aconite के पास है. ठीक है, अगर आपको कोई भी मेडिसिन दिमाग में नहीं आती है, prescribe aconite, first prescription. So entry point will be the acute miasm, suddenness. We know the key of aconite. Ailment from fright. Hyperactive mentally will reflect as a loquacity. Hyperactive physically will reflect as a restlessness. Thirsty, chilly. Sanguine and plethoric temperament. Sudden onset. Suddenness is a key of belladonna and aconite. And bitter drinks craving. In the rubrics you can find bitter drinks aggravate also and bitter drinks craving also, right? So fear to go when there is an excitement. Excitable situation आएगा, aconite का सारा fear start हो जाएगा. So we have discussed that every medicine has their own ailment. So the ailment of aconite is excitable situation. The reaction will take. So key points are sudden threat from outside world, lively power of imagination and clairvoyance. Due to that, they predict the time of death. In arsenic also, they will also predict that I will be die. And aconite also predict that my death is near. But what? Imagination power and clairvoyance, that cause the prediction of time of death also. But with the intense fear of death, उसको fear of death भी रहेगा, लेकिन वो बोलेगा कि कल सुबह 10 बजे मैं गया, come sudden, go sudden. The suddenness is a key of aconite. They will avoid crowd, avoid crossing streets and every excitable situation, because that things create fear in that person. Right? Least avoidant music is intolerable for them. Aconite has insecurity of calcarea, terror of stramonium, and anxiety about health and fear of death, of arsenic. Right? All these three things we can find in aconite. Reaction. The aconite will be always in hurry and hasty. Why? अगर वो सिचुएशन में स्टक हो गया फिर उसको सारी कंप्लेन स्टार्ट होगी. They will scream and moan with palpitation and perspiration. You can find it in fear with palpitation also, fear with perspiration. In both rubric you can find aconite. And if we talk about the Boger-Bonning-Lucent concept, Boger-Bonning-Lucent always give priority to the concomitant. Any type of emotion and physical complaint, any type of physical complaint with physical complaint will be given priority. So you can think of these also. Increase heat of face with oppression of breathing, anxiety and restlessness with biting of nails. In Allen's keynote, it is written that amenorrhea in plethoric young girls after fright to prevent suppression of menses. You can find it in rubric, female menses suppressed, fear fright aggravation. Right? This is the case of a 2-day boy. सिचुएशन में ऐसा था कि सर के पास हम बैठे थे, फोन आया, जो पेशेंट है उसके फादर का फोन आया कि बच्चा 2 दिन का है लेकिन फिर भी अभी आया तब से उसने यूरिन पास ही नहीं किया है, उसका पेट एकदम फूल गया है और वो रो रहा है कंटिन्यूअस दिन रात. और सर ने बोला कि वीडियो कॉल करो, मुझे देखना है सिर्फ. तो बच्चा कंटिन्यूअसली रो रहा था और ऐसे हाथ पैर ऐसे मार रहा था कंटिन्यूअस. 3-4 मिनट तक देखा, वो बस यही कर रहा था. और सर हैज प्रिस्क्राइब्ड just by looking at aconite nebulas 1m wrist application, and the father has called after 10 minutes that baby has passed urine. So we were just shocked. ऐसे 3-4 चीजें देखी और aconite कैसे प्रिस्क्राइब किया. फिर हमने क्वेश्चन पूछा कि सर ऐसा कैसे हुआ. फिर सर ने ऐसा बोला कि any suppressed discharge from sudden fright and fear will be cured by aconite. Or rubric was fear urination with retention of. Right? So these rubric can be think of as a concomitant. Fear or urination suppressed, you can think of. Some rubrics for the aconite are despair with a fear of death, fright, fear aggravation, still remaining, fear delirium in. One thing I have noticed that every type of fear during pregnancy will be covered by aconite. So fear related to pregnancy are fear pregnancy in that child would be deformed, fear of death in pregnancy, fear that something will happen during delivery parturition, fear of killing during delivery parturition, fear of evil, fear of misfortune. These kind of rubric you can find it in aconite. So every type of fear during pregnancy will be cured by aconite. Another remedy is argentum nitricum. Sir has always says that if there is no impulsiveness and no anxiety, don't prescribe argentum nitricum. No impulsiveness and no anxiety, there is nothing about argentum nitricum. The entry point is non-diligent, misbehaving, hyperactive, hot and thirsty, all type of left-sided complaint, and progressive emaciation. The rubric emaciation progressive and there is a one particular thing that when they are nervous, they want sugar. When they are nervous, they want sugar. So the cause is they have to perform in sudden danger or crisis. Right? So as we have discussed that every remedy has their own element of fear. So the element of fear for argentum nitricum is performance in sudden danger or crisis. So argentum and if we compare the argentum and arsenic, that both have anxiety in general, but argentum nitricum doesn't have anxiety about health. Right? So argentum nitricum has a performance of argentum and sudden danger of nitrate. So argentum nitricum, they think that I will be only accepted if I will perform well in a crisis situation or any danger situation. So they start performing beyond their capacity. In college, when teacher was taking lecture of argentum nitricum, she has given wonderful example that एक छोटा बच्चा है, वो अच्छा नाच लेता है उसकी उम्र के हिसाब से, तो फिर मम्मी क्या करेगी? अगर कोई बैठने आता है घर पे तो वो क्या करेगी? बेटा अंकल को नाच के दिखाओ, बेटा अंकल को गा के दिखाओ। फिर बच्चा क्या करेगा? वो उसकी एज के हिसाब से अच्छा गा लेता है, अच्छा नाच लेता है, तो फिर उसको क्या मिलेगा? एप्रिसिएशन मिलेगा कि अरे वाह, इतना छोटा बच्चा है फिर भी अच्छा नाच लेता है, इतना छोटा बच्चा है फिर भी अच्छा गा लेता है। तो फिर उसके दिमाग में एक वो रहेगा कि चलो अपने को एप्रिसिएशन मिल रहा है, चालू रखो। फिर जैसे जैसे एज बढ़ती जाएगी ना, कैपेसिटी तो होगी नहीं उसके पास इतनी, तो फिर वो गाना, क्वालिटी ऑफ सॉन्ग विल बी डिक्रीज, द क्वालिटी ऑफ डांस विल बी डिक्रीज, सो दे विल फाइंड इट एज अ परफॉर्मेंस प्रेशर। जैसे एज बढ़ती है, आउट ऑफ द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ अनकैपेबिलिटी, दे फाइंड इट एज अ कि मुझे अच्छा परफॉर्म करना पड़ेगा, मुझे हार्ड वर्क करना पड़ेगा। क्यों? क्योंकि उसको एबिलिटी नहीं है। अगर हम रो में देखें तो सारी अर्जेंटम के ऊपर, अर्जेंटम वाली रो में क्या आएगा? गोल्ड, प्लेटिनम। दे विल परफॉर्म वेरी वेल बिकॉज ऑफ देयर कैपेबिलिटी, बट अर्जेंटम डजंट हैव सच कैपेबिलिटी, so they will find it as I have to perform very hard, right? कैपेसिटी उसके पास है नहीं, इसके लिए वो एप्रिसिएशन के लिए अपनी लिमिट से भी ज्यादा, बियॉन्ड देयर लिमिट दे विल वर्क। You can find it as a rubric, fear of weak appearing, only remedies argentum nitricum. Fear, responsibility of, under that rubric you can also find argentum nitricum. If we compare calcarea and argentum, they both are weak in performance as we know, but the reaction of that both remedy will be different. Calcarea क्या करेगा? They will try to hide their weakness, but argentum क्या करेगा? They will try to perform hard. So this is the differentiation. So performance in sudden danger or crisis is a theme of argentum nitricum. That's why they are crisis manager. Key points are, they think that nobody is going to help me, I have to struggle, I am nothing, I am trying but I am not succeeding, right? In whichever situation of life argentum nitricum person feels that is trapped feeling जहाँ भी आएगी, they will start impulsiveness to came out of that situation. अगर वो कोई situation में उसको इतना एंजाइटी रहेगा कि मैं क्या परफॉर्म करूंगा, कैसे परफॉर्म करूंगा, और जो कोई भी सिचुएशन है ना उसमें उसको तकलीफ होगी। दिस रूब्रिक एगारोफोबिया, दैट मीन्स दैट in stuck in any situation and they have to go out of that situation. Agoraphobia is not that बहुत सारे लोग खड़े हैं वहाँ पे मैं नहीं जा सकता. That doesn't mean that is crowd. What is agoraphobia is situation. वो कोई भी हो सकता है, जैसे कोई स्पीकर है बोल रहा है, वहाँ पे भी बहुत सारे लोग हैं. अगर कोई सिचुएशन है जैसे दो लोग भी है लेकिन फिर भी उसको वहां से अगर कोई है लेकेसिस जैसा मिल गया, बोल 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 करेगा, उसको वहां पे नहीं रहना है, फिर भी दैट इज एगोराफोबिया। कोई सिचुएशन है उसमें से उसको बाहर निकलना है, दैट इज एगोराफोबिया, राइट? सो if they feel that they are trapped, they will try hard, impulsive way to came out of that situation. There is no way out, and I don't see the way out, is the perception of argentum nitricum. So you can find fear, narrow places, claustrophobia, aeroplane, trains, tunnels of church, opera, public show, public places, buildings. Under that rubric you can find argentum nitricum. Dr. Vijayakar sir has always described that body is in today, but mind is in tomorrow. वो आज है लेकिन वो सोच रहा होगा कल परसों उसके बाद क्या होगा, वो सब चीजें वो सोच रहा होगा. Argentum's mind will be always in future, right? So argentum has everything starts mentally and then it appears in a physical way. Why? मेंटली वो सोचेगा कि ये करना है, फिर वो इतना हार्ड परफॉर्मेंस करेगा कि उसका बॉडी साथ नहीं देगा. इसकी वजह से सारी चीजें फिजिकल प्लेन पे भी अपीयर होगी, राइट? सो द फर्स्ट साइन ऑफ डिटेरियोरेशन फॉर argentum nitricum is impulsiveness. Why? They want to get out of that situation. So impetuous, impulsive, under that rubric you can find this. Strange impulses they will find, like jumping out of building, so that they have to control themselves. अगर वो ऊंची बिल्डिंग वहां से नीचे देखेगा तो उसको ऐसा इम्पल्स आएगा मैं यहाँ से कूद जाऊँ, तो वो ऊंची बिल्डिंग पे जाएगा ही नहीं, राइट? ब्रिजेस पे नहीं जाएगा, बिकॉज fear of losing self control. And Kant has described it under fear of insanity, right? The second is the mind goes more erotic with major problems. They develop fear of surrounding, they find world is not safe for me. Paranoia is a constant fear, but in many medicine there is paranoia situation, but the basic is different for every medicine. For example, the paranoia for argentum nitricum is fear of surrounding. I have to find my way out, is a paranoia situation. Paranoia situation is like a compulsion. They have to find the solution. They have to find the solution of fear. They have to come out of that fear, right? That is paranoia situation. मतलब constant fear जैसा उसको रहता है. That is paranoia. But the argentum's paranoia is I have to way out of that situation. They have start fear of people. Why? People can cause the situation for them, and because they wants to avoid that condition, that's why they start fear of people. वो किसी को भी नहीं मिलेंगे, right? So under that rubric you can find. Then that goes to the imagination level and perception level, and distorted imagination can cause this situation, that delusion, imagination, house project, fear that running against them. Kant has described this situation that जैसे कोई इंसान गली में से निकल रहा है तो उसको क्या लगेगा कि ऐसे दोनों नजदीक आ रहे हैं, नजदीक आ रहे हैं, जैसा वो 10 रिंग्स मूवी में दिखाता है, वो जंगल है, वो नजदीक आ रहे हैं. You can think of that situation, that उस टाइप का उसे लगता है, right? Under that rubric, the argentum nitricum is only remedy. Then it rises to this state of panic and they become needy, beseech those they trusted for help and reassurance, right? So you can find that panic attack overpowering in crowd. Only remedy is argentum nitricum. Reaction of argentum nitricum is different. They will start complaining first about digestive tract disturbances. Any type of suspense will aggravate complaint of argentum nitricum. They cannot tolerate suspense, right? Nervous, anxious, and consolation aggravate them. They can't use the right word in conversation, right? They forget what he was saying because their mind will start thinking beyond that situation. They develop fixed ideas that if a cat cross the road, something bad will happen. Why this? Because they think that अगर किसी के पास से सुना है कि ऐसे काली बिल्ली रास्ता क्रॉस करे तो फिर अपना एक्सीडेंट होता है, और हर कोई किसी ना किसी का तो ऐसे गाड़ी टच हो जाता है कभी ना कभी, जरूरी नहीं है बिल्ली रास्ता काटे ना काटे, तो फिर वो इसको कोरिलेट करेगा कि बिल्ली ने काटा इसके लिए मेरा ऐसा गाड़ी टच हो गया। फिर धीमे धीरे ऐसा वो परसेप्शन बन जाता जाएगा कि क्या हो रहा है, सारा एक साथ आएगा। फिर वो फिक्स आइडियाज डेवलप करेंगे, अंधश्रद्धा चालू करेंगे। Then they become superstitious and they will pray for many things at every temple. जैसे गाड़ी लेके जा रहे, ऐसे करेंगे मंदिर में, right? You can find the rubric that fear of undertaking anything, fear of being judged, censored, fear of incurable brain disease, fear of physician will not see that seems to terrify her, fear aggravated that from ordeal यानी कोई जैसे कोर्ट में वर्डिक्ट आने वाला है या फिर कोई भी जैसे रिजल्ट आने वाला है, यू कैन टेक इट एज ऑर्डियल। कोई भी रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड थिंग आने वाली है, यू कैन टेक इट इन एज अ ऑर्डियल, राइट? नेरोप्लेसिस, क्लोस्ट्रोफोबिया, you all know legacy. So the entry points of legacy is, I have seen this situation in Katardam clinic, that one little girl came with her parents. She was seems introvert, एकदम ऐसा shy, कुछ नहीं बोलना, अच्छी बच्ची है, सब देख रही है, एकदम कॉशियस है, नीचे उतरना है फिर भी वो देख के नीचे उतरेगी कि मम्मी नीचे उतरू, ऐसा। तो हमको तो ऐसा लगता है कि हमें पहले ऐसा लगा कि ये बहुत अच्छी है, ये है वो है। Then they start showing their surrounding. They find that surrounding is very good. As sir make the familiar atmosphere in clinic, they find it familiar. Sir कुछ नहीं करेंगे, sir तो दोस्त है। Then they started showing the color. वो पानी की बोतल पड़ी है वो ले लेंगे, ऐसे लैपटॉप है उसमें देखेंगे ऐसे क्या है ऐसा करके। They show their true color. Then they will start roaming in clinics and जैसे यहाँ पे सीट है वहाँ पे बैठेंगे, सामने सीट है वहाँ पे, दरवाजा खोल के देखेंगे बाहर कौन बैठा है, फिर पर्दा लगा है तो वो चेक करेंगे अच्छा है नहीं अच्छा है। Then they start taking, जैसे मोबाइल पड़ा है तो वो ले लेंगे, बॉटल पड़ी है वो ले लेंगे, बुक्स पड़ी है वो लेंगे, फेंक देंगे, पेजेस फाड़ना चालू करेंगे। They start misbehaving in clinic. जैसे वो आए थे तो ऐसा लगता था कि ये बहुत अच्छा है, और जा रहे हैं तो ऐसा लगता है अभी जाओ। That situation you have seen. That is a legacy personality. That can be, right? For legacies, constant threat is from outside world. That's why they become watchful to everyone. 360 degree वो पूरा वॉच रखेंगे क्या कहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, because of threat is constant from outside world, right? They are quick and sharp minded. Tongue trembles when protrude, hot flashes. In climacteric period, I have seen that many of the therapeutic practitioners, just by seeing that patient is from climacteric period, they start giving a lachesis, conium and that kind of remedy. according to one or two physical or sphere of action. They just prescribe by that thing also. Derangement of time senses, prophetic and clairvoyant. There is a difference in prophesying and clairvoyance. What is prophesying? In prophesying they will just say that ऐसा होगा, ना उसने देखा है ना उसने महसूस किया है, कुछ नहीं. और क्लेयरवायंस में क्या होगा, वो ऐसे देखते हैं कि ऐसा हो रहा है, आइदर इन ड्रीम्स और जैसे जागते सपने देखते हैं, ऐसा कोई भी वो मतलब विजुअल प्लेन जहाँ पे आएगा, दैट इज क्लेयरवॉयंस. एंड सिर्फ वर्बल वैसे बोल देंगे कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये होगा, मुझे ऐसा लगता है तेरा एक्सीडेंट होगा, और एक्सीडेंट होता है, दैट इज प्रोफेसाइंग. और उसको दिखता है कि तेरा एक्सीडेंट हो रहा है, मैंने देखा है तेरा एक्सीडेंट हुआ, मैंने ड्रीम में ऐसा देखा कि कोई गांव में मर गया तो कोई मर जाता है, मैंने ड्रीम में ऐसा देखा कि एक गाय, जब भी मेरे ड्रीम में गाय मरती है तो कोई ना कोई गांव में मरता है. दैट इज क्लेयरवॉयंस, राइट? सो बोथ विल बी कवर्ड बाय लाइकेसिस. Loquacity, intelligent, vivacious, and brain is fast of lachesis. Desire to be magnetized. They are selfish, hot and active bleeders. Complaints left to right. All the complaints first appear as in a left side of the body, then it travels to right side. Key points are: jealousy is a key point of lachesis. Out of that jealousy, it will give rise to the suspiciousness and insecurity. That will give rise to fear of being killed. So why lachesis have fear murder of being? Why? Because of the jealousy component has given rise to the suspiciousness, and that suspiciousness is responsible for fear murder of being. That is the paranoia situation for lachesis. As we understand that Argentum has also paranoia situation, but regarding I have to find my way out, and lachesis I have to protect myself. That is a constant paranoia situation for lachesis, and that's why they are watchful and sharp-minded, always ready to fight. Why? Because constant threat is there, right? So they think that people around me are planning against me. They are planning to kill me. Everyone is trying to kill me. Suspiciousness, mistrustful. There is a plot against him. Under that rubric, you can find lachesis, right? So constant threat will goes to the surrounding also. कि आजू बाजू में जो भी है मुझे मारना चाहते हैं. Threat is from everywhere, feel unsafe, so they will be alert all the time and watchful, right? After that situation, imagination becomes worst enemy. We have seen that they have lively power of imagination, clairvoyant as well as prophesying, both covered by lachesis. So that imagination power becomes the enemy of lachesis, and that overwhelmed state develops fear of persecution. चल के जा रहे हैं ना, फिर भी हर बाजू उसकी नजर होगी, क्या कौन मेरे आगे से चला गया, ये गाड़ी कितनी बार गई, वो सब चीजें उसको पता होगी. वो बोलेगा कि ये गाड़ी तो पहले भी यहाँ से गई है, ये क्यों दूसरी बार यहाँ पे आई. That is the power of lachesis. Delusion that enemy is behind him. The only remedy is lachesis. In stramonium also, there is a fear from behind, and lachesis also fear from behind. But lachesis has not only fear from behind; they have fear from everywhere. Stramonium has only fear from behind, क्योंकि आगे का तो मैं निपट लूँगा, right? So after that, they will feel terror. So they will avoid contact to protect themselves. Okay? So first is a fear of snake. As a genetic trait, they have a fear of snake. If they see in a television only, if they have seen that picture of snake, they have seen a video of snake, they will start palpitation and perspiration. So under that rubric, fear palpitation with, fear perspiration with, you can find aconite as well as lachesis, right? Then they start suffocative feeling. We can correlate as a doctrine of signature that Lord Shiva has always snake around their throat. So we can think of that also. Fear, suffocation of, right? The next remedy is arsenic. Arsenic has also, as a like aconite, arsenic has also fear of death, right? But the cause of death will be different in both. Aconite has excitable situation that cause death for aconite, and arsenic is different. That arsenic sees the world as a threatening and chaotic. The whole world is threatening for me, whole world is chaotic for me. They feel that they are very weak, they are defenseless, right? That's why they cannot compete with everyone, and that's why the world is threatening for me. I am weak, right? And everyone is ready to take advantage of my weakness. So they will start dreaming about thieves all around him. Rubric, thieves, robbers, thieves, right? So he need people on whom they can depend. So company desire for, yet fear of people. Fear of people is there also, but they need company to protect themselves. They not trust anyone. Why? Because everyone is ready to take advantage of me, right? So under that, plot against him, and he will be careful and shouldn't offend them. As like lycopodium. Lycopodium has also a similar feeling that I am not able to protect myself. That's why I need a people. But they will create their mind in that way that everyone will convince with lycopodium. वो जैसे अच्छे लोग हैं जो उसको प्रोटेक्ट कर सकते हैं या उसकी जो भी ज़रूरत है उसको वो पूरा कर सकते हैं, उन लोगों के साथ उसका बिहेवियर बहुत अच्छा रहेगा, right? So we can differentiate it from that. So he is mistrustful, suspicious, cautious, anxious, all kind of emotion related to money, relationship, health, right? The first thing in arsenic we remember is fastidiousness. We all know arsenic is fastidious. How can we differentiate arsenic and Nux vomica fastidious? We know Nux vomica is also fastidious, arsenic is also fastidious, right? So how we can differentiate? Arsenic is anxious if work is not done properly, and Nux will angry if work is not done properly. And to overcome that, they use fastidiousness. Arsenic क्या करेगा? खुद काम कर लेगा. The fastidiousness of arsenic will be limited to self only. और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वो अपने फैमिली मेंबर्स की हेल्प लेगा. बट नक्स क्या करेगा? ऑर्डर करेगा. जो भी आजू बाजू ए चल ठीक कर दे, वो ये घड़ी ठीक कर दे, चल ऐसे थोड़ी रखते हैं, चल ये कर दे. नक्स विल डू दैट. आर्सेनिक वो चुपचाप जाके अपना काम कर देगा, राइट? Arsenic will reflect his fastidiousness in speech also. Hasty speech is arsenic. The another villain for arsenic is his hypochondriasis. Arsenic is very hypochondriac, we can say, and that leads to development of fear of illness that give rise to the obsession of personal hygiene. कैसे रिफ्लेक्ट होगा? अगर कोई इंसान है, उसको छोटा सा ऐसा सर्दी जुकाम हो गया, वो क्या करेगा? एक्सरे करवा दो, HRCT करवा दो, MRI करवा दो, ये करवा दो, वो करवा दो, वो सब करेगा क्योंकि obsession with personal hygiene, and that level, that under that influence they start taking packets of dietary supplement. Always will take B12 injections, for ferrum and folic acid tablets, right? So they will start taking that things. Fear of death. Fear, as we know, the situation of arsenic is below phosphorus and above antimony. Nitrogen, all nitrogen group has insecure feeling, right? Because of their electron situation, they have centrally, they can't take, they can't give. बीच में आ गए. That's why they feel insecure. अगर कोई छोड़ के चला जाएगा या मैंने जो दिया है वो वापस दे के चला जाएगा, right? So they remain uneasy at the funerals and the subject of death. They live that situation, we can say. अगर कोई मूवी में ऐसा सीन आता है कि कोई मर जाता है कैंसर की वजह से, तो उसको लगता है मैं ही मर गया हूँ या फिर मेरा कोई नजदीक वाला ही मर गया, ऐसे रोएगा वो, right? So they live that situation. So they lie between phosphorus and antimony. So insecurity, loneliness, being isolated is the theme of that row. So it will reflect as fear and insecurity in arsenic, right? So fear in darkness, anxiety, driving out of bed, cautious, insecurity are the rubrics covered by arsenic. The main feeling of arsenic is fear of death by the grave disease. Not only fear of death, but by the grave disease. right? वो क्या करेगा, डिफरेंट ऐसे गूगल में जो बहुत बड़े बड़े नाम होते हैं डिसीज के, वो सोच लेगा कि मुझे तो ऐसा नहीं होगा ना, मुझे तो ऐसा नहीं होगा ना, राइट? So they are most concerned with their bowel habit, so they start taking purgatives, and finally they hospitalize with a potassium deficiency, right? So even in a minor cold coryza, they will ask doctor that I am taking vitamins और मुझे admit कर दो, I need bed rest, right? So that kind of hypochondriasis we can see in arsenic. So arsenic has the basic fear of physical annihilation. वो physical, वो अपनी body को ऐसा वो संभाल के रखेगा ना, जैसे थूजा is also taking care of their body. Why? Because Thuja is thinking that my body is fragile, I need to take care of my body. But arsenic is, मुझे कोई ऐसा रोग तो नहीं हो जाएगा ना, मुझे ये मर तो नहीं जाऊंगा ना, right? So they end up visiting doctor and therapist, and no one can diagnose my disease. मुझे ऐसा रोग है, आपको पता भी नहीं है सर, ऐसा रोग है मुझे. They will think. Also, cancer is the most common fear in arsenic, right? So under the rubric fear of cancer, fear of uncurable disease, fear of contagious epidemic infectious disease, fear of despair with fear of death, under that rubric you can find arsenic. The third and I can say second worst thing for arsenic is suspiciousness. After hypochondriasis, most problematic for arsenic is suspiciousness. They will ask a physician that since how long you practicing, have you cured any cases that I have? आपको पता भी है मेरा डिसीज क्या है, आप ठीक कर सकोगे ना, आपकी दवाई से मुझे होगा ना ठीक, आपकी दवाई मुझे रिएक्ट तो करेगी ना, मैं तो इतनी दवाई लेके आया हूँ, ये छोटी छोटी गोली काम तो करेगी ना. They will ask such questions, right? Thuja will also ask that sir, this medicine can't ऐसे मुझे रिएक्ट तो नहीं आएगा, रिएक्शन तो नहीं आएगा ना, ये मेडिसिन में ले रहा हूँ तो मुझे कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं होगी ना, मुझे कोई कंप्लेंट तो नहीं आएगी ना. Why? They think that body is made up of glass, my body is fragile. अगर आप कोई दवाई ले रहे हो और मुझे सफरिंग हुआ तो बेसिक कंसर्न ऑफ थूजा इज सफरिंग. दे आर ड्रेड ऑफ सफरिंग. That's why they start protecting their body. Where arsenic has, मैं मर तो नहीं जाऊंगा ना. Fear of death is a basic trait of arsenic, right? So arsenic has a suspicion, but physical insecurity. Natrum has a suspicion, but mental insecurity. They want stable relationship. That's why they got suspicious. And arsenic wants physical security. That's why they got suspicious. Right? So under that rubric, you can find arsenic, that arrested of being, fear day and night, fear alone of being, least he died, desire to be alone but yet fear of people, fear that jumps out of the window, fear of bed, being alone, fear looked at, cancer of impending disease, right? So the next remedy is calcaria. Yes. Calcaria is, we cannot say that is fearful. What we have understand that calcaria is insecure, but out of that insecurity they start fear, right? So the entry point is diligent, obedient, right-sided affection, chilly, thirsty, timid. These are the entry points of calcaria. We all know. What are the key points of calcaria? So the main need of calcaria is protection and security, but they will never afford effort for that. Why? Because of the timidity of timidity is a genetic trait of calcaria. अगर उसको लाख इनसिक्योरिटी हो फिर भी वो पहल नहीं करेगा कि मुझे सिक्योर करो, because of their timidity, the feeling that being too weak and for the face cruelty of outer world. उसको इतनी हिम्मत ही नहीं है कि वो ऐसे अगर कोई कंपटीशन है तो उसमें पार्टिसिपेट भी नहीं करेंगे. सेल्फ डिवैल्यूएशन विल बी डन बाय calcaria, right? So they start hiding their weakness. Surrounding is not safe for me, so they start hiding them. जैसे Dr. Rutu has told me that whenever calcaria person will go out, अगर वो ऐसे काउच लेके चलता है, वो लकड़ी लेके चलता है, तो वो लकड़ी साथ में नहीं ले जाएगा. Why? They won't show that I am taking support. They will not like that. Why? They are dread of showing their weakness. They will not show that I am weak. I am okay. तकलीफ होगी फिर भी वो करेगा. Out of the timidity also, and wants to hide their weakness also. Right? So the rubrics are fear alone of being, desire company, aggravation alone of being, protection, wants constantly of mother. Right? So these rubric you can find calcaria. So change is threatening to her. Whenever calcaria, they want constantness. Aurum also want constantness, but why? Aurum has its own dignity, its own power. Aurum has created that. That's why they don't want change, right? So they may remain in a job for years. They won't change his birth town. Why? Because calcaria is find that in new situation they have to create from zero. That's why. And Aurum also in new situation they have to create from zero, right? Calcaria has material security as like arsenic, so they will tend to worry about future and fear in material senses, right? Calcaria, if we differentiate calcaria and arsenic, so calcaria will avoid change, but arsenic will be fastidious, precise. अगर वो कोई नई जगह पे जाएगा वो क्या करेगा? नहीं मुझे नहीं चाहिए प्रमोशन, मैं यहीं पर ठीक हूँ. बट आर्सेनिक विल स्टार्ट वर्किंग वेरी हार्ड सो दैट नो वन विल लीव हिम. मतलब वो कोई जाने ही नहीं देंगे उसको. जैसे कोई कर्मचारी काम कर रहा है, वो अच्छा काम करना शुरू कर देगा, कोई क्यों निकालेगा? right? But calcarea will avoid change, right? So the reaction will go to find shelf, will go to find protection from everyone, right? So the child will come weeping home, but never will fight out of the context of timidity, right? So the sensitivities, rudeness, criticism, reproach, being laughed at are the sensitivity of calcarea. Right? So despite of vital reaction, calcarea will develop intense fear. Fear like murder, fire, animal, rats, and the scene which terrifying and horror they will love to show, will love to watch, but after that they will find complaining, they dreaming, they start living that thing that everyone is coming to me and doing such horror. जैसे उन्होंने जैसे हॉरर देखा है वो उसके शुरू हो जाएगा उसके साथ. So again they will never watch that show, again they will never watch that thing, right? वो फाइटिंग वाला सीन, हॉरर वाला सीन अगर एक बार भी देख लिया ना, वो पूरा ड्रीम आएगा, सिचुएशन को रिक्रिएट करके वो जीने लगेंगे. इसकी वजह से फिर कभी नहीं देखेंगे, राइट? Intense fear of suffering, right? So they will fear to go physician like dentist and surgeon. I have remembered in Katagam clinic, one lady has told that मुझे ऑपरेशन ही नहीं करवाना है. And sir has inquired about more that why you don't want to go to surgeon, why you don't want surgery. She has told that I have taken a treatment of dentist. उन्होंने इतना पेन दिया है कि मैं अभी कोई भी सर्जरी नहीं करवाऊंगी. That was the word of that lady. So they are dread of suffering, right? After all the attempt failed, they become indifferent from recovery and just sit at the corner, despair of recovery. And because the reason they start despair of recovery is timidity. They don't want to take help from everyone. They want, but they will not approach. That's why they goes to the despair of recovery, right? They lose security. He feels that he left alone in wild, then goes to the stramonium state. Stramonium will discuss this later. And the rubric are deserted, forsaken feeling, alone of being, adulterous are the rubric. You can find calcarea. They want security, so they will start collecting money. They are, जैसे बोलते हैं कि चिंगूस रेमेडी है ना, उसमें कैलकेरिया एक है, ब्रायनिया, कैलकेरिया are the remedy which collects the money. Will not spend money ऐसे छूटे हाथ से नहीं वापरेंगे वो लोग, right? So the fear of poverty, fear position lose, fear social position of, right? This is the case Dr. Rutu I have seen in clinic of Dr. Rutu. 46-year-old female had a complaint of that वो complaint ऐसा था कि मुझे जब भी सिर दर्द करता है ना, तो मुझे पता नहीं चलता है कि मैंने चीज़ें कहाँ पे रखी थी. जैसे कोई चीज़ यहाँ पे रखी थी और मैं वहाँ पे मुझे लेने जाना है, लेकिन सिर दुखता है ना, तो मुझे पता ही नहीं चलता है कि मैं कहाँ पे ढूंढूं. रखी उन्होंने थी, फिर भी वो भूल जाते हैं. कंफ्यूज, स्टेट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन ड्यूरिंग हेडेक, राइट? ऑल्सो क्राउलिंग सेंसेशन इन हेड. समर में ही मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता है, दिक्कत होती है. ऑल द फीलिंग स्टार्ट इन समर और एग्रावेट इन समर. USG show that intramural and anterior wall uterine fibroid. That was the USG. And physical general chilly, thirsty, aversion to sweet and sour, diligent, slow speed, dull intellect. Mental is when question was asked that why you want medicine, for what complaint you are taking medicine. the question was, आंसर was, मुझे बहुत डर लगता है कि 5 महीने पहले मेरी भाभी को हेडेक हुआ था और उसके बाद हेमरेज हो गया था। मुझे डर है अगर मुझे भी ऐसा हुआ तो। और ऐसा लगता है कि मेंसेस का भी प्रॉब्लम है तो कैंसर तो नहीं होगा ना, मेरे पड़ोसी को ऐसा हुआ था। सो दैट वाज द आंसर। एंड in past history, right eardrum perforation, headache recurrent, muscular pain, and these are the rubrics was taken: fear, impending disease of, fear, cancer of, season summer aggravation, and eardrum perforated from Murphy repertory. The only remedy was calcarea. Right? So rubrics of calcarea is: fear looked at, fear stories after, fear of accident to loved ones, fear after hearing cruelty, calcarea is only remedy, fear of death from hunger and fasting, calcarea is only remedy, fear of his own impulse, fear of shadow, candlelight by or his own, worries of life, fear fright aggravates, sadness with fear of evil of impending, right? So the next remedy is belladonna. Belladonna is also, belladonna is a kind of brother of aconite, we can say. So they are very approachive, hyperactive mentally as well as physically, chilly, thirsty, thirstless in acute, right-sided affection, fast and suddenness of the complaint comes and go suddenly, non-diligent, misbehaving, and chubby with large head. These are the entry point of belladonna. Key points are plethoric, jovial and intelligent, but violent when they are sick. Angel when well, devil when sick. अगर वो अच्छा है तो बहुत अच्छा है, अगर उसको कोई कंप्लेंट शुरू हुआ फिर उसके जैसा बुरा कोई नहीं. They craving lemonade, thirsty in cold weather, but liquid aggravates their complaint. Right? Pain causes the delirium and cries when in sleep. I remember one case in college that patient has said that उसको बहुत बुखार है. Patient, if we see at the appearance of patient, पूरा एकदम चेहरा लाल लाल था और ऐसा फूला हुआ चेहरा था और ऐसे हाथ रखे फिर भी इतना गर्म था. और फीवर अगर हम चेक करें तो 100-101 रहता है, लेकिन जो फेस और हेड था वो इतना गर्म था. और मदर हैज टोल्ड दैट वो बड़बड़ाता रहता है. उसको जब भी बुखार आता है ना तो रात में सोते हुए भी बड़बड़ाता रहता है. सो आफ्टर hearing that sir has prescribed belladonna. In belladonna there is written low muttering delirium in fear, right? So during fever low muttering delirium. So out of that prescription was belladonna. So low muttering delirium in sleep, congestion and convulsion, ailment from fright, rage, fury is the reaction of belladonna. In reaction, they are angry, biting, striking, consolation aggravates the complaint of belladonna. Same belladonna thinks that they have some power of magical physics and he is magician. Kant has described it as a delusion. He is magician, and belladonna has expulsive temper, will time to time explode and do damage. Instant belladonna goes to illusion, delusion and hallucination. All the complaint you can find in belladonna. So if fear of robbers and dreams are there in belladonna, अगर कोई पेशेंट ऐसा बोलता है कि मुझे रॉबर्स के फियर, लेकिन उसको मैंने मारा था, वो घर पे आया, मैं पकड़ लिया, फिर मारा उसको, so belladonna will beat the robbers in dream. The rage and fury strikingness will reflect in dreams also in belladonna, right? It stands between sane and insane. In fever, delusion, delirium, hallucination, illusion, all the complaints you can find it with fever, right? So spirit, angel, demon, all these things comes in belladonna's mind. So delusion, imagination, devil sees, figure see, closing eyes as soon as phantom sees, some strange people, ghost, spectre, spirit, talking with dead sister, vision has monster in delirium, vision hears, voice hear strangers of. So under that rubrics you can find belladonna. See the level of illusion, hallucination, delusion of the belladonna during fever also and in general also, right? So always have sudden threat from outside world, so they choose to accept in order to survive. First reaction will be striking, biting, rage, fury. But if they fail, they choose escape from that situation. Under the rubric desire to run away, escape, desire to jump out of bed. In Boric that is written that wants to, अगर वो घर पे है फिर भी उसको घर जाना है. They will say that मुझे घर जाना है अगर वो घर में ही है फिर भी, right? So that is the level of wants to escape from situation, right? In fever, unconsciousness interrupted by screaming. They will scream and moan, alternate with rage and fury. अगर वो unconscious है फिर भी वो scream and moan बीच बीच में करेगा. जैसे बैप्टिशिया में लिखा है कि वो आंसर देगा, बीच में सो जाएगा, फिर भी उठ के आंसर देगा, फिर भी फिर सो जाएगा. The alternate level of unconsciousness is saneness in baptisia, but in belladonna they will start screaming alternately. Unconscious है फिर scream करेगा, फिर unconscious हो जाएगा. That is the alternate level, right? So they remain unconscious of their problem. Suddenly conscious make them excite, and that out of that excite, fear alternate with rage. Fear wants to set things or house on fire. Mania, madness, spite, bite those around him. In COVID time, we have seen that many of the patient, जैसे उनको आइसोलेट किया है, उसका लेवल इतना वो हो गया था कि डॉक्टर्स हैं, नर्स है, उसके ऊपर थूकेंगे, उसको मारेंगे कुछ ना कुछ, उसके ऊपर पानी डालेंगे, चलो जाओ यहाँ से निकल जाओ ऐसा. So that was the level of belladonna reflected in that situation, right? So the rubrics for belladonna we can say in mania, fear, touch on, jumps, alternate with mania, alternate with rage, you can find belladonna. So the next remedy is stramonium, right? Entry point for stramonium are they are approaching, but touch me not. You cannot touch me. You can ask me, you cannot come near to me. They don't want to be examined. Hyperactive mentally as well as physically, but physically they will be aggressive, chilly and thirsty as well as thirstless, non-diligent, face will be red and hot, hand and feet will be cold. The blood rushes to the face as like belladonna. And rhesus sardonicus, muscular stretching. The key points are they have feeling left alone in wild. मुझे अकेला कर दिया और जंगल में छोड़ दिया, ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है जंगल में छोड़ दिया, मुझे अकेला कर दिया. Cornered feeling, left alone feeling will be created. To feel hopeless, the child left alone, abandoned, forsaken, alone in home. The rubric is alone being in darkness. His brain cannot recognize who is near. Clinging to all the things comes near. because they want company, they want something. So clinging, person, furniture too, right? This rubric we have seen many times. We differentiate remedy under this rubric. जैसे स्ट्रेमोनियम लेना है तो ये क्वेश्चन तो पूछेंगे कि अगर बच्चा है और डर जाता है तो क्या करता है. जैसे पेशेंट आके बोलते हैं कि बच्चा डर बहुत जाता है, रात में सो के उठ जाता है, फिर क्या करता है, वो जो भी चीज नजदीक में है उसको पकड़ लेता है. दैट इज क्लिंगिंग, राइट? सो दे फील अलोन, desire to escape for keep himself safe, right? The rubric are fear, black or dark clothes or dark everything. Fear, desire to escape. Delirium, desire to escape. Delusion, object tries to escape from imaginary. Stramonium is the only remedy. Fear of darkness because of the hopeless and uncertainty in Stramonium. Buffoonery, which means they act silly, intimate other, crack jokes, making sound of animal. They start doing this thing to attract everyone to them, right? Element from fright, dancing, singing, rhythmic, as like lachesis. Tarantula is also this, but they will be abrupt in answer, right? Rubric we can think that fright, fear, aggravation element from mental and emotional consequences. Anxiety consents of, he feels that he has done some unpardonable thing and constantly will pray for pardon. Anxiety consents of unpardonable sin, feels that she has done and will be eternally lost. The context of salvation will come in Stramonium. Delusion, imagination, unpardonable sin, sinned away of his days of grace. मोक्ष नहीं मिलेगा, मैंने कुछ ऐसा काम किया है कि मुझे मोक्ष नहीं मिलेगा. The soric sensitivity is anxiety conscience, but the level of the perception of Stramonium will be कि मुझे मोक्ष नहीं मिलेगा, ऐसा मैंने काम किया है इसके लिए, right? The reaction of Stramonium is they wildness, destructiveness, violence, striking, as like belladonna, but will be anxiety conscious person, right? They don't want to surface this fright, so he finish it off, eradicate it and destroy it, right? So the gesture make violent, striking, screaming, violent, rage, fury, kill, desire to, devil he see or devil he is, right? In belladonna, if they fail to bite or strike someone, they will choose the path of भाग जाएंगे वो, escape. Escape will be the reaction of belladonna, but Stramonium will never escape. They will just fight, nothing else, right? So at this point, we can differentiate belladonna and Stramonium. Okay? Stramonium has aversion to black color. The feels that person with whom he start a trustful relation will leave him in dark. The rubric is wife is faithless, hopeless, theme. Okay? So these are the rubric under which you can find Stramonium. You can find this in Hyoscyamus also, but out of the suspiciousness. And here it is out of person will leave him. Not suspiciousness, but emotional attachment will be break and she will leave me. But Hyoscyamus will think that she is cheating on me. That's why faithless. And Stramonium that she will break the bondage of us. This is the differentiation, right? Another rubrics are the aggravation in presence of stranger, kill desire to loved one, wife, husband, spouse, partner. Why? I have said previously that they will finish. Who creates the fear in his mind, they will finish them, they will destroy them, they will eradicate them. That's why they start that desire to kill, right? So some contradictory symptoms also we can found in stramonium, that shrieking, screaming, shouting for help, delirium, lively, vivid, with alternate with fear of monster and striking for help. They are fighting, but also striking for help also, right? Fear at night, yet fascinated by it. In Mancinella, we have one case. We'll discuss about it later. So remember this thing, that fear at night, yet it fascinates them. Hate bring light, hate bright light, but yet feels better in daytime. They have aversion to black color, we have seen. They hate black or red color, yet come in clinic wearing that color only. And these are the contradictory symptoms with the genetic trait of stramonium. So as we have seen that out of the sensitivity it will develop fear, out of that fear it will develop false perception, out of that false perception the brain goes out of control in delirious state. In rubric, how can we find it? So the first is fear injured of being, right? So what is it? That I will be injured by anything. It can be person, it can be thing, it can be emotion, it can be anything, but I will get hurt. The constant fear is there. So in that situation you can take this rubric. The remedies are arnica, arsenic, caladium, calcarea, calcarea ars, calcarea salt, and so on up to stramonium, right? So many remedies covered by fear of being injured. From that false perception create, and that will create the delusion, imagination, injury will receive. So this is fear that created false perception that I will receive injury. That is false perception. The broad rubric is fear injury will receive. The smaller rubric is delusion injury will receive. So how can we differentiate from it? So for that we need to refer it to pathological condition. If there is a established pathology, psychotic growth is there or any extra growth is there, so at that time we needs to take delusion. Yesterday sir has told that if we wants to differentiate from this rubric, so if there is a pathological changes or psychotic growth is there, so we need to take syphilitic rubric. If there is only physiological disturbances, we need to treat soric condition or sauropsychotic condition. We have to take psychotic rubric, right? And after that, this delusion injury will receive. From that, the development of delusion injured of being. So this is the last rubric under that development. So what it is? Delusion injured of being. That means some type of injury I have received. I have got injured, right? That is the differentiating point in this. What when you can take this, that patient will say that ऐसा किया फिर मुझे ऐसा हुआ. अगर पेशेंट ऐसा बोलता है कि मैं ये नहीं करता हूँ क्योंकि उससे मुझे ये होता है, then you have to take injury will receive. अगर पेशेंट ऐसा बोलते हैं कि ऐसा किया उसके बाद ही ये हुआ, that means you have to take this rubric, right? Stramonium covers all the three layers, all three stages, right? So hyoscyamus and stramonium are the only two remedy which covers all the three layers of the development, right? So the rubrics for stramonium is fear delusion from company ameliorate, convulsion, parturition during lively active vivid, delirium striking for help, stranger sees at night, night children ever nocturnus, fear noise from rushing water. Under these rubric we can find stramonium. Right? So the next remedy is hyoscyamus. Key entry points of hyoscyamus is approachive, hyperactive, but non-diligent, aggressive and shameless. The shamelessness is a key feature for hyoscyamus. They will reflect openly all the mental situation or all the mental stress or all the mental or physical stress. They will reflect it as a shamelessly, openly. They will reflect. They will not get shame. Chilly, thirsty. Hyoscyamus has also paranoia situation, but in the context of suspiciousness, as we have seen argentum also, as we have seen lachesis also, and we are seeing it as in a hyoscyamus also, but the all have different contexts. The hyoscyamus will paranoia situation is suspiciousness, right? So suspiciousness related to food, drink offered. They think that it is poison. It is offered me because they want to kill me. It is offered me to kill me only, right? So they will start rejecting that. I don't want your water. I don't want your food. Many a times in old age you can find that मेरी छोटी बहू है वो मुझे मारना चाहती है, इसके लिए दवाई मिला के पानी में दे रही है मुझे, वो खाने में जहर मिला के दे रहे हैं मुझे. Old age person, many a time they told these. So suspiciousness, right? In hyoscyamus, jealousy component is there, which creates the suspiciousness. That suspiciousness is a paranoid situation, and that creates the schizophrenic condition in person, right? So out of these sensitivity, these condition has developed, right? The key points are their precocious sexual behavior, poor control on their impulse, anger and quarrelsome is the key reaction point of hyoscyamus. They are biting and striking as like belladonna, stramonium, right? Sleepless, increased cerebral activity. The differentiating point in belladonna, hyoscyamus and stramonium is belladonna and hyoscyamus has increased cerebral activity, but belladonna has some inflammative changes in brain. Hyoscyamus doesn't have any inflammative changes in brain, but the only activity, mental activity will be increased, and in stramonium nothing, right? They cannot tolerate liquid. Patient will enjoy talking about the sexual life. They will openly talk about that. अगर डॉक्टर पूछते भी नहीं है फिर भी वो बताना चालू कर देंगे. That is the hyoscyamus trait, right? So jealousy and violence give rise to desire to strike, right? In hyoscyamus also, in stramonium also, in belladonna also, jealousy and violence factor give rise to desire to strike. In belladonna they want security. In stramonium they don't want to be alone. That's why they start violence. They want to destroy that. That's why they start violence. And in hyoscyamus, jealous and violent leads to desire to strike. Right? So if we differentiate hyoscyamus and lachesis, they both have hurriedness, loquacious, paranoia, jealousy, and sexual obsession. Right? So on which we can differentiate that hyoscyamus is acute and ridiculous, but lachesis will be smart and psychotic. They will not openly do these things. They both have mentally prepared for these things. But hyosamous will acutely, ridiculously, openly reflect it. But lachesis will not openly reflect it. They are smart and psychotic, right? Hyosamous may fall into insanity when they are stressed and will explore it into the sexual fear. Any type of mental or physical stress will reflect in hyosamous as a sexual fear, right? The rubrics, we can take that fear being alone, insanity, erotic sexual, insanity, madness, lascivious, insanity, foolish and ridiculous. Under these rubric, we can find hyosamous. In reaction, is suddenly let down and disappointed, betrayed by whom he is completely dependent. Right? In Stramonium, we have seen that the most reliable person has left him alone, and this is the situation of hyosamous also. The most dependent person has betrayed them. It can be false perception, it can be real situation, right? अगर उसने दिमाग में ऐसा बनाया है कि वो मुझे बिट्रे कर रहा है, अगर सच में ऐसा हुआ है, in both situation we can think of hyosamous, right? That cause the panic and acute fear, and that will reflect it as a threatening, jealousy, jesting and sexuality, right? It will reflect as a these different parts. So they have feeling that they are sexually unattractive, and to exhibit sexual desire they will start losing control, and to reflect that they have false perception that I am sexually unattractive. To show that I am attractive, they start रिफ्लेक्टिंग, वो छोटे छोटे कपड़े पहनेंगे, फिर वो पार्ट्स रिफ्लेक्ट करेंगे. तो as this way they reflect that I am, they wants to show that I am sexually attractive, because their perception is I am sexually unattractive. Out of that the reaction will be this exposed genital, they wants to naked, they wants to be in bed naked, right? Suspicious and mistrustful is a common genetic trait of hyosamous, right? So here is one situation. Read it. It is written that my wife is beautiful, but because of that I have stress that she will leave me. It is not like that, but I have in mind that if she will leave me, what I will do. I know that is this is a false fear, but what if it's happened? Which kind of rubric we can think for these?
Wife is faithless.
Okay, wife is faithless.
Delusion ugly.
Why
Not
delusion
good
ugly?
looking. એટલે સામાન્ય છું. મને લાગે છે કે મારી પત્ની comparison.
Okay. Okay.
Fear of being
Suspicious.
alone.
Okay.
Fear of being alone.
Okay. Fear of being alone.
मतलब left alone. Fear of
Left
being
alone. You can think of anyone? Anything else? The rubric is simple and interesting. Delusion, imagination. Wife will run away from you. The only remedy is staphysaxia. This is a cutout of Madhurima, Divya Bhaskar. in Sayyar, Nari and Madhurima, many kind of these kind of questions they ask. It's interesting, right? The rubrics for hyosamous is betrayed of being, fear of something creeping out of every corner, poison being, devoured being, drink offered. This is interesting. That fear to drink what is offered. Hyosamus is only remedy. Why? They think that it is poison because out of that suspiciousness, right? Fear of plot, only remedy is Hyosamus. The mind laughing at his own fear. Hyosamus and iris is the only remedy, right? Okay. So next is lycopodium. Entry points of lycopodium is hyperactive, hot, thirstless. All the complaints from right to left. We have seen in lycasis that all complaints start in left side, then it goes to right side. But in lycopodium, every complaint starts from right side and it travels to left side. Diligent but cunning. Good image outside, good boy image outside, and very bad at home. Malicious and vindictive. Right? So this is the differentiating point. How they react outside the home, how they react inside the home. Outside they are very affectionate, but inside they insult parents, they are abusive to the chota bhai, right? They from in outside home they answer softly, nastily, sophisticatedly. In inside home they answer dictatorial. They are anxious and anticipating outside world because they wants to keep their image good. But in home they are boaster, wish to be considered rich, right? Outside home they are withdrawal, aversion to company. They are in presence of other aggravates, right? But in home they are desire to be carried. They are affectionate and flatterer, but in home censorious, critical and contemptuous, right? They out of context timidity, they want self-confidence and cowardice nature outside, but inside they are dictatorial, talk, air of command. This is the rubric: timidity, want of self-confidence, cowardice, and the rubric is dictatorial, talk with air of command. Right? Another is mildness, servile, obsequious, submissive, serious, quiet person, and passionate. This is the image of outside home. And haughty, impolite, defiant, cursing, deceitful, sly. This is the image inside home, right? In lycopodium, they are very low self-confident. In Kant, it is written that any politician or any public speaker, they are very anxious before the speech. वो बोलना चालू करे उसके पहले उसको बहुत डर रहता है कि मैं कैसा बोलूँगा, मुझसे कुछ गलती हो गई तो मैं बोल पाऊँगा कि नहीं. But when they start, after that they are king of speech. अगर वो एक बार चालू कर देगा ना, उसको कोई पूछना भी नहीं है, वो इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म भी करेगा. They can perform well, but they are low self-confident person, right? So the reaction of lycopodium, the main feeling of lyco is remain small in the context of power. They want more power, right? So the perception is body part smaller, right? His survival will be difficult. He will be humiliated, be nowhere. The main feeling is they want to grow bigger and bigger. Why? अगर उसके पास पावर नहीं है तो सर्वाइवल डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा, ह्यूमिलिएट करेंगे लोग, कहीं का नहीं छोड़ेंगे, ओ कुछ है भी नहीं ऐसा होगा, राइट? सो दे वांट्स टू ग्रो एंड रीच टू द पावरफुल पोजीशन, द हाईएस्ट पोजीशन दे वांट्स टू टेक. सो माइंड, love of power. Under this rubric you can find lycopodium. Lyco person feels that he has no power, and that's why they are ambitious. Lycopodium is not a genetic trait. The ambitiousness is not genetic trait of lycopodium as Nux vomica. Nux vomica is a genetic trait of ambitiousness, but lycopodium has adaptive ambitious, psychotic ambitiousness, right? To grow and take charge, right? So ambitious is not a okay. To gain power, they achieve successes, and that's why they become ambitious. And ambition is because is too for money. Ambitious, they employed in every possible means, right? They will dictate, dominate, but then also they will take help of others also. Not like कैलकेरिया को अगर सच में जरूरत है फिर भी वो नहीं मांग सकते हैं. लाइकोपोडियम का जरूरत नहीं है फिर भी वो मांगने जाएगा. वो उसको टिमिडिटी जैसा कुछ आता नहीं है. They fear undertaking new challenges, facing new situation, meeting new people. Why? They are low confident, right? So fear undertaking new thing, undertake lack of power to undertake anything, fear of people, anthropophobia. Anthropophobia is to meeting new people. अगर उसको कोई किसी को जानता नहीं है, अगर उसको मिलना है, या फिर ऐसा इंसान है जहाँ पे सब लोग मिलने वाले हैं, किसी को जानते नहीं है, वहाँ पे जाने में डर लगेगा. वो क्यों लगेगा? क्योंकि वो सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस प्लस इमेज कॉन्शियस है, इसके लिए डर लगेगा. टू हैव टू डू थिंग्स इन ऑर्डर टू अचीव सक्सेस. व्हाई दे वांट सक्सेस? टू गेट मोर पावर. Lyco lacks confidence. He feels incapable, right? Because of the low self-confidence. Confidence bluffing wants to self, right? If we compare that, I have told that if they want to speak, if they are speaker, they want to speak from stage, they will hesitate because of the lack of confidence. Cilicia also have a problem of speech, and Lycopodium has also a problem of speech. Why? Cilicia afraid to go on stage, and Lyco afraid to speak on stage. वो स्टेज पे ही बैठेगा क्योंकि उसको पावर भी दिखाना है ना, वो स्टेज पर ही बैठेगा, लेकिन बोलने से डरेगा क्योंकि उसको इमेज कॉन्शियसनेस है कि अगर मेरी इमेज, मैंने कुछ गलती कर दी बोलने में तो फिर मेरी इमेज तो खराब हो जाएगी. That's why they afraid to speak on stage, and Cilicia will afraid to go on stage because of the timidity, right? They actually are good person, that's why they are afraid to go on stage, right? Image consciousness will reflect at that situation, and Lyco will be lack of confidence, but as they start speaking they will be very good, right? So will hide their weakness, show off because of their fear of being discovered, as like calcarea, right? Fear of being discovered, Lycopodium is only remedy. Anticipation element from stage fright, Cilicia is the only remedy. So rubrics of the Lycopodium are fear sadness with, fear satiety of life with, particularly in company hysterical, fear alone of being company, with aversion to, yet fears to be alone, fear death of, wherever message prepare, Lycopodium is the only remedy. And one rubric of petroleum is that fear of death with
must settle thereafter.
Must settle thereafter, yes. The petroleum is the remedy. Fear everything constant, ringing doorbell even at, fear of responsibility, fear of observe of being. These are the rubric of Lycopodium. One video. You have to watch the video and you have to say which can be the rubric for that. What kind of rubric we can think? let me explain you more about the whole video. ऐसा होता है कि ये जो इंसान है वो घर से निकलता है तो उसकी अम्मा उसको बोलती है कि बाहर मत जा, वहाँ पे भूत होते हैं, तो अभी रात पे कोई गांव में से बाहर नहीं निकलता है, तू क्यों बाहर जा रहा है? तो वो डरता नहीं है कि मैं किसी से नहीं डरता हूँ, मैं तो जाऊँगा। फिर वो चलता है तो उसको खन 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 ऐसी आवाज़ आती है, फिर उसको ऐसा लगता है कि क्या है, फिर वो दौड़ के बाहर निकल जाता है। फिर दौड़ के बाहर निकला तब से ये वीडियो शुरू हुआ। फिर वो पीछे मुड़ता है और वो चीज़ देखता है और आपने सब देखा। तो विच काइंड ऑफ रूब्रिक वी कैन थिंक ऑफ?
Foolish courage.
Panic. Fear, fright, element. Okay.
Phantom sees. Delusion of fear. Delusion of fear. ऑलरेडी परसेप्शन में डाल दिया था, उसके बाद उसने देखा. So there is behind back of mind there is a fear and it goes into exaggerations.
Have you observed properly the physical condition? Shock. Okay. Fainting. Fainting from right. Another is
Oppression of the chest.
Yes. So the rubric is fear taking breath away. वो गिर जाता है, फिर वो एक भी सांस नहीं लेता है और उसी से उसकी डेथ भी हो जाती है, राइट? सो वेरी ऑब्जर्वेटरी रूब्रिक, fear taking breath away. The only remedy is Rustox and Veretum, right? So we'll learn Rustox only. Entry points of Rustox is hyperactive, chilly, thirsty, diligent but misbehaving, left-sided complaint, industrious but non-conscientious, physically hyperactive but not aggressive. They will be restless only. Irritability and maliciousness is the entry point of Rustox. Key points are they are physically hyperactive, that reflect as a restlessness and tremendous apprehension at night that force him to go out of bed, as like belladonna. Belladonna को भाग जाना है क्योंकि उसको बचाना है खुद को. इसको apprehension ही इतना है, stress ही इतना आता है कि बाहर जाना है, right? Mild and timid, very superstitious. Fear superstitious is the rubric, Rustox and Conan only remedy. Fear of ghost, fear of dark, right? Reaction. So they have constant anxiety that something is going to happen. Fear, evil of being hurt, of being murdered. These kind of rubric that fear of evil, fear of happen something will bad, right? The faces danger of attack from his own family member and feels helpless and forsaken. So first betrayed, then hopeless. So hyosamus and stramonium both together in Rustox. So they want home in ground floor so that they can fly. Right. Feels no one is trusted, and that give rise to superstitiousness. Right. So has to be quiet and cannot ask for help to anyone because no one is trusted. So no clinging, no desire for company. Right. The calcarea has a constant threat feeling. If constant threat feeling from outside world, it will goes to the stramonium state. Calcarea will goes to stramonium state. And if calcarea has a constant threat from his own family, it will goes to the Rustox state. Right? So if picture is like calcarea and constant threat from family, we can think of Rustox. Either we can think of stramonium. The superstitious remedies are zincum, maderinum, Rustox, also conium. Okay, but Conan will discuss after. So Zinkum has fear as if committed crime, but don't know what crime they have committed out of the context of anxiety, concerns, right? Medorinum has same superstitious, but they have a clairvoyance, and that clairvoyance leads to superstitiousness, that fear misfortune or something will happen. And Rustox is nervous and apprehension, and no one is helping me, forsaken and betrayed, both feeling comes together, that give rise to the superstitious in Rustox. They don't know what is to be done, right? The rubrics for Rustox are fear poisoned of being, fear superstitious, home away from, murder will be, poison about to be, poison he has been, watch that, delusion imagination that she is being watched, persecuted that he is persecuted, right? So these 5 rubric are related to the family members only. Stramonium has Hamas feeling both together in Rustox, right? So the next remedy is phosphorus. For entry point of phosphorus are approaching or withdrawing. Both can be. It depends on the situation of phosphorus. Hyperactive, mentally, chilly and thirsty, all the complaint of left-sided, non-diligent, timid but obedient, affectionate, loving and caring, desire for magnetism. Right? Key points are they need love, the basic need and basic sensitivity of not being loved. They have sensitivity that they are not being loved, they are not being cared, right? Unloved and uncared feeling is constant in phosphorus, and for that they will do that, वो सबको ऐसे खुश रखेंगे, they will love everyone, but दिमाग में क्या रहेगा, मैं ऐसा करूँगा तो वो ऐसा करेंगे. They have feeling that they are unloved and uncared. That's why they adapt that loving, caring, affectionate reaction. They adapt that, right? So they be affectionate, friendly, sympathetic, loving, caring, right? So he has to be sensitive to feeling of other to win their affection, right? He has a wide range of reaction and sensitivity in anger, grief, fear, all together. Why? Grief because of they are unloved and uncared. कोई मुझे प्यार नहीं करता है. Grief. गुस्सा क्यों आता है? कोई मुझे प्यार नहीं करता है. Right? And fear, मुझे छोड़ के चले गए थे. Right? The reaction, they are most sensitive to environment. The phosphorus is fearful, but that depends on the degree of threat they feel from the environment. Fear is constant for them. External impression makes him vulnerable. Right? So they are oversensitive to all external impression. So अगर कोई छोटा भी कुछ कह देना तो उसको बुरा जल्दी लग जाता है. Why? They have constant unloved and uncared. They correlate it with this. कि देखो इसने मुझे ऐसा बोल दिया, कोई मुझे प्यार नहीं करता है. Right? Weak senses of identity. Under confusion of mind, identity, duality sensation, delusion, identity, error of personal. Right? So phosphorus has, see this, bombardment of constant any hurt feeling, bombardment every why लाइफ में तो ऐसा छोटी छोटी चीजें होती है लेकिन उसको वो बहुत बड़े रूप में देखता है. इसकी वजह से उसको ऐसा लगता है कि सारी चीजें मेरे साथ ही हो रही है, सारा कुछ मेरे ऊपर ही लगाया हुआ है. The constant bombarding from all sides that leads to them in panic state, right? He cannot process to the kaleidoscope of feeling. Kaleidoscope makes one. अगर कोई एक चीज रखे तो बहुत सारे डायमेंशन में उसको दिखाएगा. तो अगर एक चीज है उसको भी वो बहुत सारे डायमेंशन में देखेगा, क्योंकि मुझे ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है, बहुत सारा, तो दे कैन नॉट cope up with this, and that's why they got too anxious and excited to new surrounding, right? It gets into anxiety when life gets hectic. Hectic मतलब थोड़ा भी कुछ ज्यादा बड़ा हो गया ना तो उसको कंप्लेंट सारी चालू हो जाएगी. फॉस्फोरस अगर वो अपने खुद के शादी में भी वो ऐसे सोचेगा कि अगर मेरा एक्सीडेंट हो गया तो मेरी वाइफ मुझे छोड़ के चली गई, लेने तो जा भाई पहले, राइट? तो वो ऐसे सोचेगा. Fear imaginary things. You can find it in these, right? So his imagination is wild, and that is the main problem of phosphorus, right? He will magnify a small problem and a small threat too much. Fear of death, impending. मेरा जाने का समय नजदीक आ गया है. Fear can be easily dispelled by reassurance. अगर उसको कोई बता दे अरे भाई कुछ नहीं होगा, बैठ जा, हाँ ठीक है, ये चला गया. They want magnetism, they want reassurance, right? So need someone who can say everything is all right. His innocence and impressionability is blessing as well as curse for them, right? So fearful when alone, especially at night and dark. They fear of dark, death, ghost spectre walking on, looking at faces, looking in every corner, right? This is the imagination power. Such level it can be attacked. Hypochondriac. Phosphorus will be very hypochondriac in every manner, in a physical manner also, in a emotional manner also, in mental manner, thinking pattern also hypochondriac. So a small symptom seems him as a grave disease, right? The fear disease of incurable. In arsenic is also there, phosphorus is also there, but arsenic not get calm by assurance. They want reassurance. That's why it may be they want reassurance. That's why they show that much, right? And they desire to magnetism, but arsenic will think that medicine is useless to take. कोई भी मेडिसिन दे दो मुझे ठीक होने वाला ही नहीं है, right? So fear that something terrible is going to happen because of clairvoyance, fearful imagination आएगा, and that's why they feel threatened, and then they accept magic. लकी चार्म रखेंगे, हॉर्स शू, स्टोन, कुंडली देखेंगे, वो करेंगे, ये करेंगे, सब कुछ चीजें स्टार्ट करेंगे. The rubrics for phosphorus are anger, vexation after, disagreeable thinking, agoraphobia, approaching of vehicles, accident, examination, disease, death impending, make hideous faces, right? The next remedy is Kalibrom. Very superstitious remedy, as like conium, rustox, mederinum, zincum, right? Every type of delusional, you cannot even imagine that kind of rubric will be covered by Kalibrom. The wild imagination is covered by Kalibrom is a very delusional remedy. They live in delusion. Entry point for Kalibrom is withdrawing, hyperactive mentally, but non-aggressive, hot and thirsty, right-sided, non-diligent, but obedient. Power over sexual fear is very great, as like hyosamus. Memory weak, impotency weak, lascivious fancy, satyriasis, nymphomania. In our college, many professors are like we can say जैसे क्या बोलते हैं उसको, स्पेसिफिक रेमेडीज देते हैं, थेराप्यूटिक प्रैक्टिस करते हैं. In that cases, if weakness of memory is there and impotency is there, they will blindly give Kalibrom and get result also. So we can think of, if we didn't get anything in case, we can think of these also, right? key points and reaction for Kali Brown. They are oversensitive to music that makes her cry, fear, apprehension about losing her mind, that fear insanity of losing his reason. Right? Lasting, least thing make her worried, confused, sad, fear of people, indisposed to meet. They will corner themselves, right? Frightful imagination at night. They have committed, about to crime committed, crime कर दिया है या करने वाले हैं, cruelty. These are the traits of Kali Brown. Fear of being alone, क्योंकि वो crime करेंगे. In pregnancy, from piano playing. Imagine he is signal out of object of divine force. उसे किसी परम आत्मा ने भेजा है ये काम करने के लिए, ऐसा इमेजिनेशन उसका चालू हो जाएगा. Delusion is under influence of powerful influence. Is under powerful influence. Is signal out of divine, right? So these can be the only remedies Kali Brown we can think of. The great suspiciousness. They will look all the side. In hyosamous, suspiciousness will be towards the family members only, right? As like legacies see threat from all around world, same way Kali Brown will suspicious to all around world. She will trust no one, right? So mistrustful, looks all the side. Fear will do something wrong. Anxiety concerns will leads to this rubric. He is insane. He is going out of his mind, about to commit crime. He is a devil, right? Will answer monosyllabic as criminal does. Morality, crime, and guilt is the main feature of Kali Brown. If we differentiate conium and Kali Brown, conium will be more superstitious, where Kali Brown will be more suspicious, and that suspiciousness goes to the superstitious level, right? So hysterical in sexual fear, both we can find it as a sexual fear, but in conium, the suppression of sexual desire will leads to the expression of sexual fear, and Kali Brown has an anxiety conscience, morality, and out of this morality they think that अगर किसी को पता चल गया तो कि मैं ऐसा सोचता हूँ, that makes a huge impact in brain of Kali Brown, right? The biggest concern of Kali Brown is morals, where biggest concern of conium is salvation, and for salvation they become superstitious, and for morals they become suspicious to everyone, right? So the both contains the sadness after sexual excess, sadness from masturbation, they both, but the sensitivity of both is different. This is a sin done by him will come between his salvation, will think by conium, and Kali Brown will think that people realize that I have a dirty thoughts. The morality is the biggest concern of Kali Brown, and salvation is the biggest concern of conium. The rubrics for Kali Brown is alone of being, in pregnancy, from piano playing, sadness with, murder of being, indescribable something, conspiracies against them, about to commit crime, money talk of, right? These can be the rubric we can think of. So another remedy is Mancinella. Mancinella, we can say every kind of bhoot, pishach will think Mancinella, right? So entry point of Mancinella is withdrawing, hyperactive mentally, hot, thustless, timid and bashful, profound sadness. They have some fixed ideas and belief in a magical world. Commonly, Mancinella will, the patient will belongs to the magical family. They believe in भूत भुआ और वो सब वो बिलीव रखते हैं. ऐसी बैकग्राउंड से आते होंगे day and night, dark and night aggravation, and too much sexuality, as like Conayon, Calibrum, Hyacinthus, right? The key points and reaction, they wants to hide because they're afraid of devil, that they are going to take young girl to hell, right? Because they have misbehaved in holy place. Again, a concern of morality, कि मैंने मंदिर में ऐसा किया है, वो devil आके मुझे ले जाएगा, right? So fear that devil is after them, devil मेरे पीछे पड़ा है, fear of being taken by devil that he will take, right? Fear of dark, ghost, something bad will happen. Nightmare भी ऐसे आते हैं, that terrifying dog मेरे पीछे पड़ा था. Don't want to lose control, that's why the flight response, they want to run, yes, and run like hell. They don't want to stop even. एक बार उसने दौड़ना चालू किया, ऐसे दौड़ेगा जैसे पूंछ पे आग लगी है, ऐसे दौड़ेगा, right? They belong to the family who believes in black magic. Fear of insanity, fear of devil, losing control will be covered by Mancinella. They have obsessive thoughts. They have a fixed idea of celibacy with ideas of, we obsess with ideas of celibacy, right? Fixed ideas of cutting, hurting oneself, cut, mutilate, slit, desire to mutilate his body, tendency to, right? They're afraid of evil and spirit, and possessed of being by possessed by spirit of evil. The fear that something bad will happen, fear of ghost and spectre, delusion that he is possessed, imagination that devil possessed, right? The rubrics we can think of is impulse morbid, dark forces, anthropophobia, dead people, punished of being, imagination doomed of being, salvation lost. In Katargam clinic, there was one case of a 10 to 12 years old child. वो बच्ची ऐसा बोलती थी कि विटिलिगो का केस था, तो बच्ची ऐसा बोलती थी कि मुझे ऐसे सपने आते हैं, भूत दिखते हैं, और बहुत कुछ ने उसने ऐसा बताया कि वो मेरी टांग खींच के मुझे ले जा रहा है, और मदर ने ऐसा बोला कि वो कभी ऐसे डरावने सपने देखती है, फिर उठ के पूछती है, मम्मा मैंने देखा है, वो सच तो नहीं होगा ना, पापा मैंने देखा है, सच तो नहीं होगा ना. But then also the parents told that every day she watched these kind of horror movies, and she get dreams also, but then also she watched the movies. For that Mancinella was prescribed in this case, right? We can think of. Here is one video. From seeing this observation, you need to suggest rubric, right?
bird,
Fear of approaching death. Yes.
fear bird,
Fear birds of. Yes.
fear happen something will.
Fear upon something will.
Reaction is not actually fear, it is more than fear. It is
Panic.
an exaggerated panic state,
Panic.
or it goes into state of anguish itself. So anguish, death approaching. Out of context there is a fear, and that fear is related to the things which happen in their life. So back of mind there is a suspicion or a superstitious belief that if something is fallen or dead, it will create my death also. This is what something a panic state.
Yes. Actually, I also don't know about the rubric.
But we can think of like that.
Fear birds of common, and we can also think of fright and panic overpowered situation, right? And in this movie, it showed as a context of superstitious, that if that person sees the black crow dead, she has to go for temple. For that reason, they have showed it. But we can think.
It must be Kali bro.
Yes. Thank you.
So once again, big round of applause for Mr. Dhruvil Gadhiya. He has given a wonderful understanding of each and every remedy with the component of the fears and its development from the biochemistry to the neurochemistry and finally to the remedy differentiations in the minor details. So thank you so much for the wonderful session, and thank you all learners and online learners. We will continue this series again and again for you. Thank you all.